welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into, well, humanity's age-old quest for a longer life. But we're focusing specifically on health span, basically, the years you spend feeling good, healthy, and free from those chronic diseases.
Exactly, because aging, fundamentally, it involves decline at the cellular level, the molecular level. So keeping those cells intact, that's really key for extending health span.
Right. And what's really at the core of that, keeping cells healthy for longer.
A lot of it comes down to this really fundamental process called autophagy. You can think of it as your body's own internal recycling program. It cleans things up, maintains balance, what we call homeostasis inside the cells.
Okay, it's autophagy.
Yeah, and our goal today in this deep dive is to look at how some really common culinary spices might actually interact with these cellular pathways to, support your health span.
Interesting. Okay, let's unpack autophagy a bit more. You said recycling program.
Sort of. The word itself means self-eating. It's the process where cells break down old, damaged bits of junk, really, and then they repurpose the raw materials to build new, healthy components. It's like a cellular reset button.
A reset button. I like that. And this isn't just a theory, is it?
Oh, no, not at all. There's Nobel Prize-winning work here. Yoshinori Osumi identified the specific genes, the ATG genes that actually run this whole process.
Ah.
And its effect on health and aging is, well, pretty profound. It helps prevent damage from building up as we age, supports repair, regeneration. It seems to protect against a lot of chronic diseases. And animal studies, they consistently show boosting autophagy can extend lifespan.
So, okay, more autophagy equals longer, healthier life. Sounds almost too simple.
But here's the catch. It's what we call the Goldilocks principle. You need the amount of autophagy to be just right.
Not too much, not too little.
Exactly. Too much can actually be harmful. There was a study, I think, in fruit flies where excessive autophagy activation actually shortened their lifespan. So, yeah, balance is key.
Fascinating. Okay, let's switch gears slightly to spices. We use them for flavor, obviously, but they're more than that, right? They have these bioactive compounds.
Absolutely. Things like curcumin in turmeric, cinnamaldehyde in cinnamon, capsaicin in cayenne pepper. These aren't just flavor molecules. They have real biological effects.
Like what kind of effects?
Well, many are powerful antioxidants. Cloves, for instance, are incredibly potent. They often have strong anti-inflammatory effects, and some can even influence your gut bacteria, your microbiota.
And I read something really interesting about how they can work together. Synergy.
Yes, that's a key point. The classic example is piperine, which is in black pepper. It can boost how much curcumin your body absorbs from turmeric by, get this, up to 2,000%.
2,000%. Wow.
It's remarkable. Now, thinking about specific spices and longevity mechanisms, let's talk cinnamon. Recent research actually in C. elegans, those little worms scientists use a lot in aging studies.
I need worms.
It showed that cinnamaldehyde, the main compound in cinnamon, extended their longevity and their health span. And it seems to do this by regulating pathways like mTORC1 and autophagy signaling.
Yeah.
Kind of mimics the effects of dietary restriction.
Making fasting just from a spice. That's powerful.
Okay.
But isn't there a catch with cinnamon, like different types?
Oh, absolutely crucial point. You need to know the difference. There's cassia cinnamon, which is the most common type, but it's high in a compound called coumarin. Too much coumarin can be toxic to the liver.
Oh.
Then there's Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon. It only has trace amounts of coumarin, so it's much, much safer for regular use. Very important distinction.
Okay, good to know. What about turmeric? Everyone talks about it for inflammation.
Right. And its active compound, curcumin, it modulates key cellular signals, pathways like AMPK and mTOR. These are like master switches controlling cell growth and cleanup, and they're definitely involved in regulating autophagy.
So turmeric influences autophagy too. What about, say, garlic or cayenne pepper? Do they just ramp up autophagy for longevity as well?
Well, this brings us back to that Goldilocks idea. Context really matters. Research does show that allicin from garlic and capsaicin from cayenne modulate autophagy, but often it's in the context of fighting cancer cells.
How so?
For example, allicin might trigger autophagy, leading to cancer cell death. Capsaicin might actually block autophagy, also leading to cancer cell death in certain contexts. So it's not as simple as more autophagy is always better. It really depends on the cell type and the situation.
That's a really important nuance. So complex. If we pull back a bit, think about those blue zones, places where people live exceptionally long, healthy lives.
Yeah, their diets are often heavily plant-based, right? And they
Yeah.
naturally include many of these spices we're talking about.
So it's part of the bigger picture.
Exactly. The benefits you get from spices, they're likely amplified when they're part of a whole healthy lifestyle. They complement other things we know stimulate autophagy, like periods of fasting, maybe some calorie restriction, the Okinawan hara-hachibu idea, eating until you're 80% full.
And exercise too, presumably.
And definitely regular physical exercise. It all works together.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, we need to touch on some practical things for people listening. We've talked about how powerful these spices are, but you can't just start megadosing cinnamon powder.
Absolutely not. Using spices in your cooking, generally very safe. But the concentrated forms you find in supplements, that's a different story. They carry much higher risks of side effects, interactions with medications, just because the doses are so much higher.
Right. And this leads to a bigger issue, doesn't it? Regulation.
It really does. It raises a serious question. Many natural health products, frankly, aren't well regulated. We saw this with the CBD market, right? Studies found inaccurate labels, potency all over the place, sometimes contamination with heavy metals or pesticides.
Scary stuff.
It is. So if you are considering supplements, you really need to look for products that have transparent third-party testing to verify what's actually in them and that they're clean.
That's critical advice for you listening.
And I really have to stress this. Always, always talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional before you start taking high-dose spice supplements, especially if you have any health conditions or you're already on medication. Please be safe.
Definitely. So the future seems pretty exciting here. Blending this traditional wisdom about spices with modern science, it really makes you think, what new possibilities could this open up for your own health span? Something to ponder until our next deep dive.